Because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. God has put that in the mouth and heart of everyone. But we must confess and believe to make it ours. You might ask, well, how could it be in the mouth of someone that never heard? Paul's going to go on and explain that, and it'll be 2 weeks before we get to that passage. But he goes on to explain it. And this is part of what, these two verses are part of what many call the Romans road to salvation. And I'm sure many of you have memorized that. It's verses that from the book of Romans that is used to guide a person to salvation. But sometimes when we take these verses and use them individually, we kind of tear them out of the context in which they are written. And sometimes when we go to approach people to witness to them or share Christ with them, we like the systematic. I mean, after all, we're Western people and we think analytically, right? And so we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Now say, Jesus, come into my heart. But that's not really what is being talked about here. The Apostle Paul's saying he has such a passion for the Jewish people. And Moses has clearly told them there is another way than keeping all the law. And God has placed it in their mouth and in their heart. And so it's already working on them. So when you come along and share the gospel with someone, it's like a light goes on. That's what's already going on inside me. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to do. Yeah, sometimes we go through a little resistance because they know there's going to be a price to pay. But God is already at work in their heart and mind and getting them ready to confess to God. The confession is to God, not to others, although that follows, that they are a sinner and that they need him, that he's the only way. In context, what Paul is saying and what Moses wrote, it means that there is an easier way to salvation than that impossible path of perfectly living the law. It's to love God, the giver of life, and every good thing. If we love him, we'll place our trust in him, and we will choose life. We will choose his way. God has put that truth in everyone's heart and mouth, and we simply believe and confess.